Welcome to a new video. In this video we will discuss the Cramer's rule for a set of equations. In the previous example we have discussed the Gaussian elimination to determine the unknowns in a 3x3 matrix. This is the same matrix. We will now use the Cramer's rule to calculate the unknowns here. Of course we will see everything in the calculations step by step, and we will verify our results using the MATLAB code. Okay. So we have the following objective. We like to solve the system of equations, which is shown here, using this time Cramer's rule. Again, this is the same set as we have seen in the video for Gaussian elimination. So how do we solve this problem using Cramer's rule? Okay, let's look at our calculations. First, we need to start by setting the system of equation here in a standard form. If that is the case, we can skip the step. What is a standard form? We need to have the same order in each equation. So we need to start, for example, at x, y, and z is equal to a constant. This should be also for the second and the third equation, which is in this case not the case, so we need to rewrite this. So the rewritten version in the standard form is then shown here. So the first equation was already okay. So we see here x, y, and z is equal to a number. But the second equation, we have here x, y, but the z was on the right side, so we need to replace that with the left side. That's why we have here a minus z. And we have left here at the right side just a 0. And for the third equation, we need to have again x, y, and z. But we see that the y is on the right side, so we need to move it to the left. So that means that's why we have here minus 6y. And we have here our constant 1, which should be at the right side, so it will be then a minus 1. So this is again in the standard form. Okay, now we need to define a matrix from this set of equations and also a vector. Then what is a matrix? Matrix is determined or written from the coefficient from this part of the equation, and the vector is actually formed by these three values or three numbers. So we have now matrix A, just call it A. So we see here 4, minus 2, and 1. That's the first row. And then 2, 1, minus 1. You see that here. And then 1, minus 6, and plus 5. That's actually the matrix A. The vector B is then formed by these three numbers here. 2, 0, minus 1. Okay, now we have the necessary information to go to the step 3. We need to now create matrices for unknowns. What does it mean? Now we need to determine all unknowns, so x, y, and z. So we will then also set up the matrix for each unknown. Now this is specifically the matrix for the unknown x. So what we see is the following. There's a matrix A already. Now we need to replace the first column, because that's what we have now as the first column, which is then determined by the x, and we replace this first column by b. So that's why we have here. So this will be then replaced by b. The rest is exact same as the matrix A. So we come here and then actually replace this part by 2, 0, minus 1, which is actually done later. Now we do that in a similar form for the unknown y. So we have a new matrix A sub y, but then you need to replace the second column, and the rest is exactly the same as before for matrix A. And A sub z, which is then for the unknown z, we only replace the third column. So again, the first column replacement for the unknown x, the second column replacement for unknown y, and the third column replacement for unknown z. Okay. Now this will be then the result. You see here the replaced version, which is now also using the vector b, which is here now for a sub y and a sub z. So we have now created 3 new matrices. In addition, with this matrix we have now in total 4 matrices and 1 vector. Now we need to determine the determinants, which is the way to use the Cramer's rule. Now the determinant of A, which is shown here, can be calculated in many different ways. One way is to follow a route, for example this column or this row, it doesn't matter, and then select the determinant equation. In this case I use this row, so 4, 2 and 1. And there you need to use the coefficients, and then if you go, for example, from 4 to 2, this will be then with the inverse sign. That's why we have here a -2. I will explain that in detail shortly. And we have then again a 1 that should be then as the same sign. So we have here, for example, plus, minus, a plus. So you just invert the sign in some cases, but it goes in order. Okay, let's see how we can set up this determinant. This 4 here, you actually cross over this row and this column, and what is left is this part, these 4 numbers, so 1, -1, -6 and 5, and that is this part, and this is now a new matrix where you determine the determinant, and that needs to be multiplied by 4, so we will do that shortly. The next one is the 2. Again, this is, by the way, a +2, but we need to invert that because the order, so we have a -2, and then you cross over this row and this column, so we have only -2, 1, -6 and 5. So again, cross over this one and that one, that's shown here. In a similar case for 1, now we keep that sign because that's the third coefficient. So we have here this row goes and this column goes, and now we have only these 4 numbers. So we have here -2, 1, 1, -1, which is actually from here. So how do we calculate now the determinant of each of these parts? So each 3 determinants here, small determinants. So those are actually now 2 by 2 matrices. So how to do that? You actually multiply this cross number, so 1 times 5 minus the product of these 2. So it is 5 minus -6 times -1 is just 6, so it's actually what you see here. And that times 4. Okay, in the similar case, -2 times 5, and then minus the product of these 2, which is the -6, so it is -6, and what you see here is then -10 minus -6 times the -2. Final one is -2 times -1, which is just 2 plus 2, and then minus the product of 1 times 1, which is then 1. Okay, now we have here the required calculations, and now we calculate this, we get here exactly 5. So our determinant of the matrix A is 5. This says also the following: if this was, for example, 0, so not 5 or not in this case exactly 0, then there will be no solutions. That is actually also to check if the system has a unique set of solutions. So in this case we have definitely a unique set of solutions. Now we go in a similar way for A sub x, so actually this one. So you can look actually again in the first column or first row, it doesn't matter by the way, but it is always handy to select the one where you have a 0. You can actually see that if I take the first column, you see that this second term goes, so you don't have to calculate that. But there is the sign change again, because there is a plus, minus, plus sign change. You see again the determinants created here. So in the similar fashion as I did here, I have this also here. So now I can go a little bit faster because it's already explained here. And we can now calculate that this should be then -3. In a similar case for determinant A sub y, again looking at, for example, the first row, first column, but you can also do here the second column or second row. That might be better because we have a 0 here. But in this case I kept using the first row, column, to keep it in the same order. Okay, now we again use it as we have done it before. You calculate that, you get here -28. Now the final one is the determinant of A sub z. We have here the results, and now we end up to -34. Now we have the necessary values to determine the unknowns x, y and z. So what is that? How do we solve that? This is now the equation of Cramer's rule. Now Cramer's rule says actually the following: if you want to calculate x, you do the determinant of A sub x, so which is actually the matrix for specifically the unknown x, and you divide that by the determinant of A. So you need 2 determinants. Now we both have them. So we have here the 5, which is then the denominator, We have here also minus 3, which is then the numerator. So we get now minus 3 over 5, which is then minus 0.6. And this was also the value we determined using Gaussian elimination. The y is then similar to the unknown x, but the only change is here the numerator. So you do now determinant of a y, and then the determinant of a here in the denominator stays the same. So we look at our values. What is now minus 28 over 5 will be then minus 5.6. This was also the case for Gaussian elimination. Now z, you can already see the order. That should be then a sub z, the determinant. You substitute here the values will be then minus 34 over 5 will get you minus 6.8. Now let's check them, that these values are indeed correct. Again, you substitute x, y and z in these equations and see if this is indeed valid. So we see here, if we substitute that, this is indeed 2, this will produce a 0, and this will produce a minus 1. So you can also check this for yourself. So all these equations are correct, so we can say our results are also correct. Okay, now let's go now to the MATLAB and create a script, a small script with a matrix A and vector B, and then use this lin solve to calculate the values. So define a matrix. This is the matrix is. Define a vector, which is then this vector, and solve it. And the solutions were here using the hand calculations, and we set also from MATLAB, so we can see that this is indeed as we have calculated. Alright, this was our example considering the Cramer's rule for a 3x3 system. If you have any questions, comments, please let me know and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. See you next time in another video.